right. Good morning. Good morning. It
Good
is
morning.
Monday. My goodness. Another week. Another week to go. So we hope you started off amazing today. Just because it's Monday doesn't have to have a negative connotation to it. So we hope that it has started off well and you just have a positive outlook for the week. Today, we're going to discuss a little bit about meditation. So, if you have any questions, please reach out. We're happy to answer any of your questions that come up in chat and kind of take it from there.
Yes. Oh, okay. I'll take it. One, how was everybody's weekend? Hope it went extremely well. Hope you have one of those lines of work where you're able to have a weekend off. I know those jobs lately are few and far between to where you're working. Everyone wants you to say, hey, you got to get a job. You got to work the weekend. Sorry, you got to work Saturdays and Sundays, and you usually get the Monday or Tuesday off, which honestly back in the day wasn't too bad because then you can get a lot of stuff done when you're off on a day during the week. So just depends. But I hope your weekend went well. Were we on when we had all the snow?
Yes,
Okay. So
I believe,
our
yeah,
snow's
Friday.
gone.
That was
It's
Friday.
now back. It's going to be like 60 degrees this week. So anyway,
Our usual weather.
yeah, our usual weather. We're back to the normal Florida weather. So meditation. How many of you out there have tried meditation, felt that you didn't really get anything out of it or didn't understand it, or you just told yourself, I'm not able to meditate. I can't. You're not alone. There's a lot of people. I was one. I was like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I'm not going to sit there for an hour and a half with my legs crossed in an extremely uncomfortable position. I don't get the I don't I don't see where we're going with this. Well, that is one form of meditation. That is not, because whenever you say meditation, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Someone sitting there with their legs crossed, with their hands, you know, fingers pointed out, which is true. Those are some of the ways of meditation. But what Tori and I do, and what we've been trained to do and licensed in to teach, is your active meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty interesting. It's completely different. It's kind of how we found it through Jose Silva and one of his books. Followed it and like, wow, this is actually pretty interesting. But yes, you can meditate. Do you have to do it for an hour and a half every evening or every morning? No. You can get a lot accomplished mentally by 5, 10, or 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it in the morning, you can do it in the afternoon, you can do it in the evening, or you can do it all three. It's entirely up to you or whenever you have time. And it won't take up a lot of your time. Like I thought you were going to have to sit there for 20, 30 minutes. So the first thing on your mind is, well, I've tried to meditate. I have sat and listened to music or had something on YouTube and it just wasn't working for me. That doesn't mean you can't meditate. You just haven't found that right not really click or the right modality to kind of get you into your relaxed state, which it's meditation. Getting into your relaxed state in meditation is really similar to hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we've already done hypnosis. We'll stick with meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So you say, I can't meditate. I can't shut my mind off. Or usually a lot of the things we'll have some of our clients. I just can't shut my mind off. Well, me asking you to shut your mind off for, let's just say, 15 minutes would be the exact same as me saying, okay, I want you to tell your heart to quit beating for the next 15 minutes. Not going to happen. Your mind is going to constantly go through things. So, one of the things that we'd always ask when you get ready to get into meditation, if it's someone who is doing it, new or has tried and they've gotten frustrated, a guided meditation is perfect because then you have someone talking, bringing it to the next level, taking it through that next step. So now you're paying attention to, okay, What is being said to me? And that is what's going to keep your mind from kind of wandering off. Your breathing is one. Before you start off your meditation, we tell you, sit, relax. You can look up, and you'll hear us do this with hypnosis. You want to look up as high as you can, take your deep breaths, and then who's ever giving you the guide, let's say either me or Tori, have you close your eyes. Because what happens when you look up, like you're trying to look into the back of your eyebrows, you are helping yourself get into your alpha state, which is where your mind is just before you go to bed and when you wake up in the morning. It's where you can get a lot of deep thoughts taken care of. So your breath is very important. And if you are just having problems with, okay, I'm focused, this feels really good, I'm, going through my day how I want it to be, and all of a sudden another thought comes in. Oh, did I shut off the coffee pot? Did I turn on the coffee pot? Acknowledge it. That's great. If your mind starts to go off on a squirrel moment, the easiest thing to do is to just concentrate on your breath. And then you'll get back into the regular, your meditative or your relaxed state, and just concentrate on your breath and relax. It is very, very therapeutic. Even if you just started off for 5 minutes, you'd be amazed at what you can accomplish and the clarity that you can get. You've probably meditated before, didn't realize me say, I just got to sit down for a minute, close my eyes, and kind of sort things out in my mind. You are meditating. So yes, you can meditate because now you have, okay, I got to sort this out. I've got to give this presentation at work, or I have this Excel spreadsheet, or something happened. I need to figure out, the next steps to take. You are meditating. You are actually going through it in your mind, allowing your subconscious to kind of kick in and give you a hand. You might not get the answer right then and there, but an hour late, from then, like, wow, oh my gosh, I just figured this out. Yep.
Well, and that's something too. I mean, it's different for each person, and that's, I think, so important to understand is that not everybody is going to meditate the same. It's one of those where when you first start out, having that structure, I think, is very, very important because it helps keep your mind on track because you're listening to something while you're doing it. So it's kind of instructive, right? So it really helps to maintain that focus so that you can move forward in that meditation. As you progress and as you really learn and practice, it becomes to where you are able to do it on your own. Like Mike, he does the beats, the alpha beats, and he's able to do it that way. Me, I do prefer having somebody walk me through it, just because it's I have not mastered yet that not I'm able to stop thoughts that come in, as far as, like, Mike said, oh, well, did I turn the coffee pot on? Oh, well, we have to get this done today. Oh, we have to get this done today. It's like, so for me, when I have those thoughts coming in when I'm trying to meditate, it's one of those where I say, okay, mind, because, our mind is separate from our being because it's there to keep us safe. It's kind of like that computer, that security system that runs in the background, as we're doing and functioning our daily life. So it's one of those, it's constantly running in the background like an antivirus, I guess, so to speak. So that's why we have sometimes, trouble in keeping our thoughts separated. And, sometimes we have that flood come through. But it's one of those, when I have those thoughts come in, I'm like, okay, stop. That's not what I'm doing right now. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I'm meditating. So we'll deal with that later. And I visualize taking that, whatever it was that popped into my mind, and putting it in a box. You know, whether it's, whatever you want to name it, deal with it later, or, tasks, whatever you want to put it in. And when I visualize that, it gives my mind, okay, I've got it separated out. We will deal with this. So it's not trying to stop the thought, it's we're going to deal with it later. So that kind of gives my mind that, oh, okay, we're doing something else. We'll deal with it later. and I'm able to continue on with my meditation. Now, when I have that's if I do it on my own, when I try to do it on my own. But if I'm having a led meditation, I don't experience that as often because my mind is hearing somebody else speak, whether it be me or Mike, in one of our recorded ones. But it's one of those where, for me, it helps me when it's led. Kind of a long way to say that, but
Oh no,
it
it's
does
and
help.
one, we've been asked by clients, you know, I'm falling asleep.
Hmm.
So there's
Yeah.
one thing, it's like I don't feel like I'm getting anything from it because I keep falling asleep. Well, for one, if you're falling asleep, put yourself in a little bit more of an uncomfortable position. If you're laying down in bed, sit up.
Hmm.
That's what I have to do. I'll kind of sit up in bed, excuse me, so that I won't fall asleep. However, if you're listening to a guided meditation, if you fall asleep, your subconscious is still hearing what's going on.
Hmm.
And you'll
Yeah.
know, it's like if you're listening to a guided one and then next thing you remember is it's the end of it. Well, that's because your subconscious knows, hey man, it's over. Go ahead and take your earbuds out and go to bed.
Hmm.
So you are still getting something from it
Hmm.
because your subconscious is paying attention. It might not be, of course, everybody is different. Some people, I've known some, they would sit and listen to affirmations for, a few hours at night when they went to sleep, and it helps them out, which is great.
Yeah, because it's already putting you into that alpha state,
Mm-hmm.
that that brainwave. So it's calm. It's calming it down, so that way, even after your meditation, you can easily go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because your mind is relaxed more into um, that brainwave activity,
Yes.
versus what it would be during the day. So it really slows down. It really helps to, give you that time, especially even before you sleep. And one thing is a lot of times, people watch a scary movie, they go to bed, they'll have nightmares. Well, why? Because what was the last thing that you
Mm-hmm.
watched? Well, it was it was a scary
Something scary.
movie,
Oh, this is
right?
going to keep me up all night. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to keep me up all night. So what does it do? It keeps you up all night because your mind runs with what it was last, because your brain has to sort through the day's business. What did you do that day? Okay, what's important to keep? What do we need to trash, basically?
Mhm.
What's not important to our survival? And if you watch something scary, it's like, okay, well, I have to keep you safe. So let's keep this going in our mind. But it's one of those to where you do meditation. If that's the last thing you do before bed, it's getting you relaxed. It's giving you something positive, especially depending on what the topic of your meditation would be for that evening. And it would put you into a better, positive
Mhm.
um, mindset before going to bed.
And you can do it on something that well, I don't know what I want to think. I don't know what I'll meditate on. Take something throughout the day. Take something maybe going on
Hmm.
tomorrow that you want to think on. So what you're doing with the active meditation, you're taking we'll say a problem, and you're turning it into a project.
Yeah.
You're running it through your mind, and that's what's going to help you solve some of your problems. You're taking it, you're turning it into a project. Well,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't think I can do this. No, you can.
Hmm.
You just got to sit and think on it. And
Yeah.
it sounds odd. Wow, that's just some crazy stuff. It does work. I never believed in any of the meditation, any of that, until a few years ago, and we tried it. We're at that one of those points in our lives. We're like, the hell we gonna do next? And lo and behold, meditation kind of fell on our laps, and we tried it, and it worked. It was amazing. Now meditation, this is kind of interesting. So we have the graphics for our business on the back of our vehicles. And I got a phone call one day. I was driving. Of course, I'm driving. I'm not going to answer the phone. And it was a guy left a message. I was like, maybe his client wants to know something. And this guy he gets on and he goes, I just wanted to let you know that I'm just tickled by your sign. And you know what? Sometimes people just need to suck it up and be a man. Basically, what we do is the reason for the fall of society, so to speak. This is why everyone has to have testosterone replacement therapy, because we show people how to meditate. And I'm like, he goes, you know what? Call me back. I'll give you a piece of my mind. He goes, you know what? Better not. Don't even call me because I can tell you right now, you won't like what I have to say. And I was like, oh, you have no idea who you just called
Challenge
sweetheart.
accepted.
So I call him. It's like, yeah, I got your message. He goes, yeah, I just wanted to let you know, you just need to learn how to suck it up, Buttercup, and learn how to be a man and all this. And about that time, my blood pressure went through the roof and shot out the top of the truck. And I said, do you mind if I stop you for a minute? He's like, yeah. I was like, so what you're making fun of has actually helped me. He's like, yeah, okay. I was like, I'm not done. It's like, I was active duty Army for 10 years, 1998 till 2001. And you hear him go, oh. I'm like, I'm not done, sweetheart. Then I was a street cop here in Florida for 6 years. Oh, I didn't know. I was like, I'm not done. Then I was a private security contractor in Iraq for almost 8 years. Oh. I went, so meditation is actually what helped to get me out of some of the dark places so that I could work on a few things, and has really done well for me. And trust me, it won't lower your testosterone. It doesn't make you a sissy. So what's your big problem? Well, I'm trying to get by, I'm not feeling energy and everything. And now this guy's telling me his life story. Yeah. The sad part is this dude was a local business owner. What kind of business owner calls another business owner and starts berating their business and what they do without even knowing? I think that guy was like, I laid tile or some shit. I don't know. But I was just, you have got to be kidding me. And I sat there and talked to him. I was like, hey, if you want some help, want to know more, you already got my number. You left me a message. You can call back. But that just goes, yeah. I said that to say this, is that it's not going to make you lesser of a person. Like, oh, well, now I'm getting in touch with my, this side or that side. No, you're getting in touch with your subconscious. You're getting in touch with other things. You're taking a problem and making it a project. Yeah. You don't meditate to get better at meditation. You meditate to get better at life. And that's what we were told when we were going through our courses. And it makes total sense. Do you have to do it for an hour? No. If you want to, you go right on ahead. Knock yourself out. 15 minutes.
Well, and I think, that's a stereotype too. It's just, especially in our area, we're in the South, in the South, it was those suck it up and deal with it. And, oh, well, touchy feely, get in touch with your feelings. That's really not what it's about.
That's not what you're doing.
None of what we do. That's not what it's about. Do feelings have a lot to do with what happens? Absolutely. But that's not our main focus. Our main focus is to deal with the issues at hand. So, I've got stress, I've got anxiety. Okay, let's deal with those issues. It's not the feelings. Are they important? Absolutely. But that is not our main focus. Our main focus is to assist with the issues that you have on hand. And, prior generations, our generation is part of this, was you suck it up and deal with it. And you just move on. With our generation, did it help us? Yes. Do we have scars? Absolutely. Oh, yeah. But we learned how to deal with it. And I think as time has progressed, there are better ways to deal with it. Sometimes you do just have to, pull up your pants and just kind of tread through, like you have a pair of pants that's like 2 sizes too big, maybe even 4 sizes. You just got to grab a hold of them and just keep walking. Having that determination. It's a little different. So, it's a little different. Suck it up and just go on versus, okay, I know I'm going to get through this. So I'm going to keep pressing forward. I know I'm going to get through it. There's a difference. Suck it up, Buttercup is kind of the harsher way of saying, okay, let's just keep going. We have to keep moving, because if we stop, we're going to be in a worse place. So I think, Perception, the how we perceive certain things is different today than what it was back in the day. Now, has there been a lot of, you know, and this might upset the apple cart, but as far as feelings are concerned, have we harped too much on them? I would say maybe a little more than we should have, because if you deal with the issue, everything else evens out. Are emotions important? Absolutely. But we have to be emotionally intelligent, and what exactly does that mean? We have to be aware of our own emotions. I can't expect, I'm having an emotional time, and I can't expect Mike to understand. Will he? Absolutely, because we've been together long enough. But it's not his responsibility to deal with my emotions. That is my responsibility. And I think that's where we've disconnected too much, because now it's like we expect everybody else to have to deal with our emotions, and just not, but accept ourselves. So we can have these emotional outbursts or these emotional moments and expect other people to have to deal with it, and that's not fair. That's not right of us as an individual to expect somebody else to deal with our emotions. So I think it's very, very important that we understand that, because my experiences are obviously different than Mike's. Your experience is going to be different than my experience. So it's going to be one of those, we have to take responsibility for our emotions and our actions. And I think the gentleman that called, I think it's a really good example of that, because he felt it was wrong what we do, because he felt that it's coddled people too much, or it's created a society that doesn't have a backbone, and that's not the case. That's not the case at all. It's just we're focusing on one small part when we need to be looking at something else. We need to be looking at the issues, not the results of those issues, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
That
well,
makes
I
sense.
get just from the way he was, I'm from the suck it up buttercup generation, blah blah blah. It's like, bro, I'm older than you.
Yeah.
Don't come at me with that raggedy ass bullshit at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. And
Remember, you made the business decision to
to
call
call.
me, berate my business,
Yeah.
and then I
Which is
call you back and you
unprofessional for
started,
sure.
which was unprofessional.
Yeah.
So guess what? Yes, that was your freedom of speech, absolutely. And now I'm exercising mine.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were polite. It wasn't
And it
like
was I
you
was
weren't ugly or anything like that, but
not really,
it's
but
we need to get out of this tunnel vision of, okay, what works, what doesn't work.
so let's.
Because
Oh, I'm
somebody,
sorry.
well, no, because somebody may need two or three different things
Absolutely.
to help them. Meditation is a ooh, excuse me. Tea's giving me hiccups. Um, meditation is one of those. It really calms you, it really gets you focused, and you're able to concentrate and deal with things too that you've got going on in your life. Like Mike said, if you're going through something, you can turn it into a project. And it really helps us to organize our thoughts. It helps us to really find what's important, prioritize what's going on in our life. And if you haven't had the opportunity, it's really a phenomenal thing to have in your life and to utilize. But it's something you have to be consistent with. This is something that we've said over and over again. Consistency is key with anything. Exercise, good habits, meditation, hypnotherapy, anything like that. Any type of um, what's the word? Personal improvement, is going to be consistency.
Oh yeah. And you'll know when you've stopped.
Yeah.
Now, when we were going through training, there were
Mhm.
we got licensed for the 6 phase meditation, which is very interesting. This is actually really cool. And there was one particular CEO who was going through doing the 6 phase meditation, and his coworkers were like, "Wow, this guy is on fire." Just
Yeah.
He's not as anxious as he was before, taking care of business. Then all of a sudden, they started seeing him go back to his old ways.
Mm-hmm.
To where, man, you seem nervous. You're looking around all the time. You're always, looking at your watch. What's going on? And he said, well, I stopped meditating about a week ago, and everything had come back. So he's like, wow, it's just not well, I'm going to do it for about 2 weeks and everything's going to be fine. Keep on doing it. It's whether you have something going on in your life, and this is the one thing I'd learned this from a book. It was an old book. Said if you have someone who is, let's say, I'll ask right now. So you tell me you're anxious. Okay, well, what is making you anxious? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some people that sit there and say, what do you mean you don't know? You have to know what makes you anxious. It's just a trigger. What is it? Well, if you don't know, don't sit there and berate them. My God, you're not, now you're making the situation
Anxiety,
worse.
So
So
more anxiety.
and I did, as soon as I heard this, I tried it the next day with a client. I was like, wow, worked like a charm. And it's not voodoo, nothing crazy, not hypnosis. It was, okay, so you don't know what is making you anxious. All right. Let me ask you this. What are you worried about? And bam, everything. Man, I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. I've got this going on. I've got that. I'm running my own business. I'm just like, okay, now we know what you're worried about. Now we know what to focus on.
Exactly.
Of that's worrying you, what are some of the main ones?
Mm-hmm.
And then we focus on those. All right, we'll sit. You can meditate on them. It would just, what do you think would be the better solution? Or just sit, hey, this is my situation. You may have a goal. What's making you anxious? I don't know. Well, what are you worried about? Well, I'm worried about, not maybe not getting this promotion, or I really want this job. Well, sit, concentrate on it. Go and meditate on it. See yourself getting that job. See yourself getting whatever you want. And it does help. It really, really does.
And I think too, something else to go along with that is, a lot of time we think that we're not worthy, or we're not, it's the job or whatever it is that you're looking for, we're not worth it, or we don't deserve it. And that is thoughts that we really need to start to change, because your thoughts create your beliefs. And to start to change that, you deserve anything that you desire. And, obviously within reason, I mean, you don't want somebody else to hurt because of it, obviously. But if you want that multi-million-dollar house, you can have it, I mean, there's steps to take to get there, but it's absolutely available to you. And this job that you're looking for, or the promotion that you're looking for, you absolutely deserve it. You have to work for it, but know that it is available to you. And as soon as we, cut it off saying, oh, well, I'm not right for the job, or, so and so is better deserving of the job, whatever it may be, you've already cut that off of the opportunity. You've already set it up in your mind that you're not going to get it. So write down what you really want. And I think this is something that's so important that most of us don't do, because most of us really don't know what we want. Because once you start plotting out, okay, this is what I want this job. Well, guess what? It might be a little more hours because I'm going to get paid some more. So, what are you will? Sometimes we have to give up something to have something better. You can't expect to better yourself, better your situation, and stay in the same spot that you're in, because where you're at now is not going to facilitate the environment that you need to move forward. So I think it's something that's very, very important for us to understand, that we need to map out what we really want. And because a lot of times we don't know.
Yeah. Yep. Figure it out. Write it down. Have you, everybody say, write down your goals and all that. And I used to kind of scoff at it. I was like, yeah, okay. But it really does help.
It does.
Right now, what do I want to do? What's my next thing? Think on it. Concentrate on it.
Meditate on it.
Meditate on it. Which brings me back to, yes, you can meditate. If you are wanting to, become with Twitch, you're a partner or an affiliate. Well, what are the goals? What do you need to do? What do you need to accomplish in order to get to that phase? And then you start thinking about it and then start seeing yourself doing it as you meditate. Like I said, 10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
You see yourself playing. You see your subscribers, going up. You see everything how you want it to be. And then you feel it. You feel you're sitting there, you're watching, you've got subscribers, your chat's going crazy. Everybody loves you. You've got people subscribing to your channel all the time. See that. Visualize that, because you've now taken a problem or an issue, something that you want, and you've turned it into a project.
Yeah.
Which is all it really is. Okay. What do I need to do in order to get to this phase? Well, I need to do A, B, and C. Okay. Let's work on that.
And again, being consistent with it, because our minds learn by repetition.
Yes.
So by meditating on that, by visualizing that, the more you do it, the more familiar it becomes with your mind. That's why we say anything that you're doing, whether it be, listening to the hypnosis recordings that we provide, meditation, changing a habit, anything along those lines, you want to do it for a minimum of 21 days. Some people say 14, but 21 is kind of that sweet spot. So, but after that 21 days doesn't mean that you need to stop. It's just for a minimum. So you want to continue it until you reach that. So visualize it, because it makes it familiar in our mind, because that's how our minds work. And I think for us to really understand how the mind works is so extremely important, because then we can better our situation by doing things that are going to support more positive things in our life, but also, get us to where we want to be. So I think it's very, very important.
And another thing, talking about mindset, and you can bring it in along with meditation and dealing with stress, is who you are right now at January, end of January, is not the same person you're going to be, let's say, when summer kicks off.
Yeah.
You will improve. You will get better. You are not going to be the same. It's like, well, yep, summer's going to be here. Just going to be another, same old, same old. I'm stuck in the same position, or I'm stuck doing this. You're not stuck doing anything.
Mm-mm.
Remember, no one has given you this card to wear around your neck that says, nope, all you're going to be able to do is work at Walmart. Nope, all you're going to be able to do is go to Whole. All you're going to be able to do is this. And there's people changing careers constantly, all the time.
Yeah.
There's, attorneys and doctors who finally said, you know what, I've had enough. I'm going to open up a wood shop business because I love building things with wood. And they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it wrong? Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
But no one's holding them back. They are now doing something that they wanted to do. It's like, yeah, this didn't appease me. This is what mom and dad wanted. Don't like it.
Yeah.
So don't feel that you're stuck in a situation because someone said, you don't have this, you don't have that, so therefore you're never going to succeed. No, you can succeed.
Yeah.
You will succeed. You are not going to be the same person, sitting here today as you're going to be a month or two from now.
Yeah.
You will be different. You will evolve to the next best thing. You will achieve your goals. Just little by little. Just sit and think on them. Now, don't think on them, well, my third grade teacher told me that I'm never going to amount to anything. Man, if you're in your 30s or 40s, that third grade teacher is probably long gone.
Yeah.
Don't worry. That was decades ago.
That was limited thinking.
Yes. This is what I want to do. This is what I've always wanted to do. And think on that. Concentrate on that. And we'll say, you always hear, Yoda meditates all the damn time. And tell yourself, this is what I want. This is what I desire.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think about that. And then you meditate on it.
This desire I will achieve, I will.
Yes, I will.
I will.
If you've ever watched Cars, What does Lightning McQueen do before every single race? He sits there and he meditates and he goes over positive affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
I am speed.
Mm-hmm.
I am this. I am that. So, hey, it worked for him.
Mm-hmm.
It can work for you.
Absolutely. Well, and something that kind of came into my mind when you were talking, and it's gone now, but that's just it'll come back. It always does. But when we talk about when we meditate to focus on the positive, we have enough negativity around us. We don't need to add more of it in our thoughts. Leave that at the door. Don't, if it's something that's like kind of eating away at you and keeps coming back into your mind, just say, I understand what you're trying to do, mind, but that's not what I want in my thoughts. So turn that. I mean, sometimes we really need, to get where we want to be, we really need to tell our mind what we want, because if we don't tell our minds what we want, it's going to kind of go off on its own, like a dog, squirrel, 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 right? So it's going to, due to what it's seeing in your situations day in and day out, it's going to focus on that and say, okay, out of this, what can I do what do I think is going to be the best, you know, form of action to move forward. And it's just going to kind of go off on its own. So it's one of those where we need to be specific. We need to really know what we want and have that conviction that that's what we want. Because if not, the mind is going to assume, it's going in the right direction, and maybe that's not what we want. So we really need to be very clear about what we want. Now, I'm saying, and I guess there's always a caveat to it. It's like, well, I want, say you're a single person. I want a 6'4" bodybuilder, who's a millionaire, who wants this, who wants that. You can be very specific like that, but just know it's going to take time. It's going to take a long time to get that individual person. Go along the lines more of, I want somebody who's caring, who's funny, who makes me happy. And there's a caveat with that. You need to be happy with yourself before you can be happy with anybody else. Let me say that again. You have to be happy with yourself before you can be happy with anybody else. And I think we all too often look for other people to make us happy. Obviously, we need to be with people that make us happy, because if not, you're just going to be miserable. But you need to be happy with yourself. And when you're happy with yourself, you draw in those individuals that are of similar like, right? So you need to be happy with yourself and other, and it like I said, the law of attraction, it's going to bring you people of the same like. Mike has this phrase, Mike always uses this phrase that I love. If you surround yourself with millionaires, let's say you surround yourself with 4 millionaires, you'll be the 5th. Because guess what? That environment, is molding and changing you to be like them. Because guess what? Our mind likes what's familiar. So if that familiarity of those, millionaires, what they talk about, what they discuss, the things that they do, you're going to hear it constantly, and guess what happens? Your mind accepts it and leads you that direction. So it's so very important for us to really understand how our mind works so that we can benefit from, its capability. It's so funny. You got to laugh at TV, but, the movie Lucy, I don't know if anybody's seen that, with Scarlett Johansson, where, they unlock the power of her mind, and she ends up, being able to float and levitate and to do all these things. But it's an extreme, but it's what our minds can do. If we believe that we can do these things, you may see, I don't know about levitation, but I haven't heard of anybody to do that. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, it takes things to extremes, but it really makes you think about, oh, well, what can our minds truly do? I mean, look at these geniuses like Einstein and I don't even know, Tesla and just all these um, individuals that really thought outside of the box, and thought that there were other things possible. What if they were to quit? We wouldn't have the things that we have today. But because they had power over their mind and looked at possibility, it really changed, the direction of society in general and what we have available. So, if you think, oh, I can't. Well, if you keep telling yourself that, of course you can't. Don't be don't be your own stumbling block. Don't be what stops you from being able to move forward. And that's where we've said in past episodes, the words we use really dictate, how we're going to be. If you use weakening words like I can't, or, well, I should do this, but, think of Eeyore. Well, it's okay to be that laid back, but be positive about it. You know what? It's really going to be a great day today. I believe something wonderful is going to happen to me today, and have excitement. If you're really down, just say, you know what? I'm alive, and just keep saying that over and over and over again. And I just got what I was going to say earlier. I told you it'd come back, because that's how the mind works. You think if you're focused on something and you're trying to remember, and it won't come back to you, just give it time, think on something else, and it'll come back. And then I lost it again.
See?
Yeah. See, so that's what happens. But but really focus on what you want. If you focus on the negative, you're going to get more negative. That's just the law of attraction. It's science. If you focus on the positive, you're going to get more of that positivity. And meditation is a phenomenal way to do that as well. Like Mike says, it doesn't have to take long. Give it time. And, and it won't be overnight. But the more consistent you are with it, the more you'll see small things change. I think too often we're in a society where it's instant gratification. Oh, you can get a pill for this, you can get a shot for this, you can, whatever it may be. But anything worth gain is worth the wait. It may take a week, depending on how big it is. If it's something small, you might see it in a few days. But if it's something large, it's going to take time, because your mind, you got to think, if you're in a boat and you're going one direction, you've got the momentum, you've got the velocity, you have all of this inertia that's sending you forward. You're not going to be able to turn immediately. If not, everybody's going to one side of the boat, probably getting injured. You know what I'm saying? So you need to slow down and then turn. And that's what we need to do. We need to slow down, because our thoughts are going one direction. We need to slow those thoughts down, start to change them, and then we're able to turn and go in the right direction. And that's how our mind's going to work, because it's already on that path. So we need to take that time. 10 to 15 minutes is not, we can definitely carve that out in a day. Especially first thing in the morning, before we get up, before we get rolling. Just give yourself that 10 to 15 minutes every morning to start the day off in a positive and, focused way of what you want to come out of your life. If you're not happy, thinking on what's making you unhappy is not going to change that, because you're focusing on the same exact thing that you have. So it's going to keep you stuck.
Focus
Through
on what's going to make you happy,
absolutely,
not what's making you unhappy.
absolutely.
Well, I can't stand this. I can't stand that. I hate this. I hate that. Okay, what is it that I hate? What do I want?
Mm-hmm.
I know I don't like this, but I want this.
Mm-hmm.
And then focus on that.
Yeah. Yep. Keep that your main
Mhm.
goal, and just consistency. Consistency is key. And like I said, with it being instant gratification in society these days, it's going to be a challenge at first. But boy, can you imagine what that's going to be like when it starts
Mhm.
turning around for you? And focus on that too. How that's going to make you feel when it starts to change and turn to in people say in your favor, but turn in the favor that you're in the thought process that you want. You know.
Well, and you've done it yourself.
Yeah.
You know what? I learned about this meditation thing. A few key points to it. I sat down, I tried. It's like, wow, it has really changed. Me, I noticed the difference in about a day and a half to 2 days.
Yeah.
And I had
Huge.
decades worth of anger, animosity, resentment, holding grudges,
Vendettas.
vendetta.
It's still
I'm
there, but
Italian, so it kind of
it's
comes with the
it's in his DNA.
territory. But it really helped. Did it make me oh, you became soft, you became weak, you became this? No. You will find out that you actually look at a situation that would just trigger you, and now you look at it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, you know what? I can avoid that. I know how to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
I see this person. You'll even learn how to deal with, you might have some of your little workplace bullies or whatever, just drive you up a wall, because that's what we were dealing with.
Yeah.
And you learn, it's in just
It's not
meditating, sitting,
important
going through it.
what they do.
You'll even learn how to either, one, you just avoid them, or two, you know how to verbally set them straight
Yeah.
in a way that's not unprofessional,
Mm-hmm.
but in a way that makes you feel good, like, I accomplished that. Now, a week ago, I'd have probably choke slammed them by the water cooler. But now, I've done such.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow. But you will notice.
Yeah, your reaction.
Yeah,
your
your
reactions
reaction.
change. Because it's like, when we were going through all of our training, hurt people hurt people. And it's so true. So if somebody's hurting, they want to lash out to make you feel as bad as they do, so they feel like they're not alone. And is that an excuse? Absolutely not. But how we react to that individual makes a huge difference, because it shows them what you're doing doesn't affect me. And it's really important for us not to take everything to heart sometimes. And having that emotional intelligence, like I was talking about earlier, it's something that I work on every single day, because it's something that we have pictures of this, that I wear everything on my face. I can't hide anything, how I'm feeling.
She is not a poker player.
No, I am not. I have
There's
no poker face.
no poker face.
None whatsoever.
At all.
None whatsoever. And that's something that I know. I know is something that I have to work on every day. And what, again, it's consistency. It's something that, because emotion is going to win over logic every single time. And the reason being is because it gives us so much, what's the word I'm looking for? It just provides so much, what's the word? Not motivation, but just it gives us so much more than logic does. Logic, okay, I know this is a fact. Yeah. But when emotion's involved, it just creates a more susceptible environment to where, whether it's true or not, your mind believes it is fact. So that's where, if we can be aware of our emotions, if we can really focus on, is this really important? what I'm getting emotionally involved in. Whether it's maybe a friend's going through something with another friend and you get emotionally involved, is that one, it's not your fight, first of all. Can you listen to a friend? Absolutely. You can give your advice, but be cautious with that. um, but, you know, is this going to be important in a month from now? Is this going to be important 5 years from now? I mean, to really give that emotional response, is it worth, maybe even depending on the situation, losing that friend over? You know what I'm saying? So, really knowing that emotional side of ourselves is so important to be aware of how we react, and just betterment and growth for ourselves. We're able to focus on that and make better decisions. All too often, especially when you're exhausted and working long hours, and maybe you've got a million things on your plate, it feels like you're being pulled all directions. So being emotionally aware at that point is probably going to be a very big challenge, because it's just like you're tired, and you might snap, you might say some things that you don't mean during that time because you're just exhausted. Doesn't give us an excuse, but if we can, through meditation, organize our thoughts, focus on what's important, then we're able to kind of give ourselves that space to really find what's important to us, and maybe be more emotionally aware of ourselves and not expect others to have to deal with that instead of us. I think with technology the way it is, we have everything available right then and there. We expect ourselves to be the same way, and that's not how we're programmed. We're not programmed in that manner. So the more we learn about ourselves, how our minds work, how our words affect us, um, how we react to things, it's really going to help us better ourselves, in a way that we could never imagine.
And one other thing, once you, let's say you start your meditation or whatever journey you choose to go on, and you notice that you feel better,
Mm-hmm.
and other people around you will notice that wow, you're different. You seem this way, you seem that way. Don't let them drag you back down to the way you used to be.
Yeah.
Um, I had a client that did that. I was like, man, I wake up, I feel great, but my coworkers don't like to hang out with me anymore because I'm not the same old,
Mm-hmm.
stick in the mud or whatever.
Yeah.
And started seeing the client drift back down. We're like, no, 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 no. Don't let them bring you back down.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, misery loves company.
Yep.
And as soon as that misery starts to see, hey, they're doing better, they're feeling better, they're looking better. Oh, no, 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 no. We can't have that. Oh, you don't want to be part of you don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. You might want to think about cutting ties,
Yeah.
because it's all about you. It's not about them. Don't let someone else tell you how to pretty much run your life, or how you need to feel, or what emotion you need to have. I know it's easier said than done, but when you start, take a step back and take a look at those that are trying to bring you back down.
Mm-hmm.
Say, wow, they're no, what? Why in the world are they trying to bring me down here? I'm trying to better myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you take a look, take a step outside and look inside and see what's really going on. It's like, do I really want to be back inside there again?
Yeah.
I've been doing that for years. Yeah. You start feeling better, they want to drag you down. It's like, hey, you can try it. You can feel.
Come
You
with
can.
me. Join
Yep.
me.
You can feel good too. If not, leave me alone.
Yeah. If not, we're not on the same path.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where anybody who really genuinely cares for you will support you
Mm-hmm.
in seeing that you're trying to improve yourself.
Yep.
They will be there for support.
Yes.
And I think that's something where when we see sometimes when we are on that journey for improvement, and we see those around us aren't supportive, we feel, well, they love me, so I just need to stay where I'm at. And that's not the case. It may be superficial that they care for you, but if they really cared for you, they would help boost you, support you, and really want to see you improve because it's something that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all too often we surround ourselves with individuals just because they're there. Um, and we need to set boundaries. Boundaries are a huge thing. And I know that might be a topic for another time, but it's okay to limit what you allow in, what friends you have. All too, Mike and I both have distanced ourselves from certain people, and we've been made fun of because our circle is very small. Well, how could you be a business owner and only have so many friends? Because we know who's going to benefit us and who's going to support us, just like we would support them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more meaningful relationships. Just because you have a relationship with somebody, and I don't mean, sexually or anything like that, a relationship is just, any dealings that you have with friends, family, coworkers, anything along, that's a relationship. And any relationship that you have that it doesn't benefit you, and it can't be one-sided. That's another key part. It has to be symbiotic. You both have to benefit. You want to see that other person succeed while they want to see you succeed. And it's sad that we don't have more of that in today's society. But, it's something that's very, very important. If they're not providing value in your life, they don't need to be there.
True. As hard as it may be,
Yeah.
Just slowly distance yourself. If you find out that's the person that's bringing all the negativity or holding you back, it might be time to think about, I need to either tighten my circle or expand my circle. I need to upgrade my circle.
Now, are we telling you to blame that person? Absolutely not. You're holding me back. No. That's because we have a choice. Okay, we forget that as human beings. We have a choice. We choose to stay in certain situations. Okay, as hard as that may seem, we're getting deep now.
Yeah.
Okay, as hard as that may seem, we always have a choice. And the reason we have a choice, or the reason sometimes we choose the undesirable choice, is because it's what's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not happy in this relationship, but I'm holding out just to make sure.
Yeah.
Just to see. Well, that's your choice to stay. But it's an emotional choice.
And then after you go so far, we'll get on to probably a whole other topic. Now your escalation of commitment is gone beyond. Well, you're in a relationship for 3 months. I just want to see if it's going to work. Do you want to see if it's going to work, or are you wanting it to work? You can't force it to work. And then now you're 6 months into it. You're still miserable. You're not getting what you want, but by God, I'm going to stick it out. Yeah. And then you're a year into it, and you say, I'm done. Mm-hmm. And like, we've been together a year. Why are you doing this? Now your escalation of commitment has gone way down the line. Yeah. If you see the red flags and you're not happy, get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
It's it's your life.
Yeah. It really is. And don't don't do something that's going to hurt that other person just because you're hurting. Hurt people. Don't do that. Just, you know what? I saw the signs. I just wasn't ready to believe it at that point. I know now. So, let that person know, you know what? This is just not going to work out. I'm not getting out of this relationship what I thought I was going to get. Doesn't mean, maybe you can still be friends. Who knows? But don't sit there if you don't if you're not happy and you don't see yourself with that person, 10 years down the road, don't stay in it because you're just going to be miserable, because it's not what you want. And holding out for something that you want, you're not going to be able to change somebody. Only that person can change themselves. And I think that's another important thing to say is if somebody doesn't want to change, they are not going to change. No matter what you do, I mean, you can offer suggestions, but it's something that we really need to learn as individuals. We can't change other people. So let's stick to what we know, what we want, maintain. And we're not saying, oh, Mike, you're on your own. No, that's not what I'm saying. But we really need to focus individually on ourselves, of what we want, where we want to be. And, when we find the right person, they're going to support that. They're going to help facilitate that forward progression. And, I'm really thankful for Mike because, I mean, we've been together 27 years, 28 years. And, that is something that's always been there. Support, love. And, when you have it, it's really a phenomenal thing because things don't seem as difficult. Now, do we have challenges? Absolutely. But when you have that support from others, it tends to lighten that load a little bit. So, as you're going through, really utilize meditation because it can really be beneficial in so many aspects of your life. Your personal, your relationship, your working relationships, to really give you that positive movement forward. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else?
I can't think of anything right now.
All right. Well, guys, we hope this has been beneficial, some value to you. Again, really look into meditation. I know there's some free ones on YouTube. But if you can't find anything there, reach out to us. I mean, because sometimes if you have a general one, that's good for a little while. But if you need something more specific to your situation, we're happy to work with you and get you something that's going to be a little more specific, especially when you're looking to meet a certain goal or have anything like that. It's really good to have something that's a little more tailored to that.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for hanging out with us for about an hour. We appreciate it, and hope you have a phenomenal rest of your week. We'll have 2 more this week here for our streams, and we look forward to seeing you then.
Perfect. You have a great day.
Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.